the West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for LIVWHU Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham and Essex communities. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, Barking and Dagenham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of the video details of this stream on YouTube. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon and select all and you'll be notified of any new content that we upload to the channel. So obviously we're here to do the preview of the match that takes place tomorrow at Anfield. We make the trip up north to Merseyside where we face Jurgen Klopp's mighty Liverpool. Ben, with Liverpool, their start to the season in the Premier League, what have your thoughts been on the challenge that we face?
Obviously, it's a tough ask. You know, historically, we don't tend to win very often at Anfield. Albeit, I'd say over the last 5 years, it's been a lot better. Do you know what I mean? We've nicked a few draws, and actually, we've played well up there quite a bit, and it got done in like the last 5 minutes and things like that. But in terms of Liverpool's start to the season, I think they're up near the top, aren't they? They've done well. They've got points on the board, and actually, in quite a lot of their games, they've been losing at half time, maybe a man down at Newcastle, and then come back. So I think they've got a quality side. They've got a lot of character in the team because they keep coming back and winning from being a goal down. So, but they, in my opinion, they're not the force they were 3-4 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I think a few of their top players, Van Dijk being the main one that springs to mind, are probably not quite what they were. So I think we can get at them, but we'd have to be at the top of our game to get anything out of the game, if I'm honest.
In terms of the challenges that we face, and again, it's probably similar to when I asked the question when we face City, but in terms of the threats that they pose to us, where do you see that the main threats are going to come from?
Mo Salah.
Yeah.
He's
still their main man.
I still think he's still their main threat. Obviously, you know, we was listening to one of the West Ham podcast type things this morning, and I think people forget they've spent a lot of money. I think they have spent a lot of money. You know, people, you know, they bought that Gakpo, they bought Nunez, you know, so they do have goal scorers.
McAllister.
Yeah, you know, they've got goal scorers across the front line. Their midfield is a totally new midfield, so it's still a bit of a work in progress. But obviously, McAllister's a classy operator. I do like him as a player. You know, they've got threats all over the place. I'm hearing that Trent might not be fit, which I think is an advantage for us, because even though I don't think he's a particularly great defender, he is a good player that can get goals and assists for them.
Yeah.
So if he's out, that's slightly better for us.
Thiago as well might be out.
Thiago, albeit that he's kind of flattered to deceive since he's been at Liverpool, in my opinion. I mean, he's a class player, but he just hasn't quite done it. So, yeah, going to Anfield, we're always going to be the underdog going to Anfield.
Yeah.
But I think we can set up the team and cause them some problems.
Who do you think, from looking at it from the other direction as well, where do you think that Liverpool need to be wary of our threats? Who do you think is the ones that they're going to need to really watch out for?
Do you know what? It's probably going to be very similar to previous comments that we made, like against City. But Antonio, if we're going to get anything, Antonio's got to be a real threat. He's got to hold the ball up because we will be under the cosh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Antonio's got to have a big game and get the set pieces working like we have done.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Ward-Prowse can continue his start, that he's getting a goal or assist each game, and look, that's a legitimate threat within our armoury, shall we say, that we've got some big old lumps, and now we've got a lad that is one of the best deliverers about. So hopefully we can play good football and get a few goals.
Absolutely. So you're picking the team, you're David Moyes, bearing in mind obviously the strengths, weaknesses of the two teams, injuries that possibly might be sort of floating around. I mean, I'm hearing that Bowen may or may not be available. I believe that Edson Alvarez will be back in the mix. It was a fatigue issue, whatever, during the Man City game as to why he came off. So nothing really sort of drastic there. But Bowen might be touch and go for tomorrow. But what would you set up? How would you sort of go to Anfield and set up?
To be honest, mate, I think it would be the same team that, broadly speaking, started against Brighton, started against City. I think when we're playing away from home against one of the top teams, then I think we need a solid base in the middle of the park. So I in my mind, I'm moving Paqueta out to the left.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to have Alvarez, Ward-Prowse and Souček in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Bowen, I'd be inclined if Bowen's fit, obviously he starts. If he's not, I think I'd play Kudos.
Yeah.
He's come off the back of a goal scoring debut. His confidence is high. Benrahma got the assist, but in my mind, I think Kudos I'd probably gives you more of a threat. Obviously, Antonio up top. The defence kind of picks itself in the main at the moment. In that Kufal, points last season, it was a toss-up between Kehrer, Ben Johnson and Kufal, who's your right back. I think Kufal seems to have pulled away from those other two.
I'd agree.
And he's back to, I'm not saying he's back to his absolute best, but he got an assist last week. He's looking good. Bit of a question mark in centre-back in that, Zuma is looking nailed on as the number one centre-back at the moment. And I think in the main he has had a really good start to the season. He's also the captain. The other centre-half, Agerd, has obviously started the season as his first-choice partner, but as we've touched on previous podcasts, he's got a bit of a mistake in him.
Yep.
And, so I think his place is really under threat by both Ogbonna and now Mavropanos. Like I say, didn't see too much of the game midweek, but a lot of people are saying what a good game he had.
I thought so.
And I think, it seems like he could be a real threat to Agerd's place in the team. And Emerson is our number one left back. And actually, I think by playing Paqueta out left on the left, Paqueta's natural mindset is he's going to come inside, and that gives Emerson a bit more licence to bomb forward. So actually, I think that's quite a nice little dynamic on the left hand side of the pitch, and obviously Areola number one in goal. So I think, it seems like we've got a full strength team, and hopefully the new players can continue improving, and that's the team I'd go for.
Yeah, I don't think it's a million miles away from what I would select. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that the goalkeeper pretty much picks himself. Fabianski, as you say, when he's called upon, he's not done anything wrong. But Areola's start to the season has been absolutely sensational. The only thing that and this is not on the goalkeeper. This is all 11 players play a part in. We haven't kept a clean sheet for a while now, and that's a bit of a concern. So you sort of think, well, if we're a little bit sort of leaky as far as that's concerned, we're going to have to sort of go to Anfield, and we've got to find a goal. So we can't set up totally defensively. We need to set up with some sort of attacking threat. But as far as my back four is concerned, Kufal and Emerson as the fullbacks, I think that's pretty cut and dried, nailed on. Zuma with the captaincy, he's guaranteed. The question is who partners him. Now for me, Ogbonna made a horrendous error in the game against Bakatopola. It obviously didn't cost us because we came back, we won the game, and that's fine. And to be fair, errors from Ogbonna are quite uncharacteristic. They're not something that you don't sort of sit there and go, he makes a lot of them. So I'm prepared to let that one ride. Aguirre has been a concern to me, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, that if you actually look carefully at the goals we've conceded, I'm not too sure. And obviously, as I say, his main weapon is his recovery pace. But the thing is, we tend to play, and we will play at Anfield with what they now call the low block. I mean, sitting deep in old money. They like to reinvent terminology, but we're obviously going to be sort of like facing a lot of attacks and whatever, and we're going to be sitting quite deep. And that recovery pace, as far as his main attribute is concerned, it's kind of blunted in that situation. That recovery pace is more potent, I would suggest, for a centre-back to be sort of brought to bear when you're sort of like pushing up sort of quite a high line. So I'm not too sure that recovery pace is sort of like really that relevant in that scenario. And this is why I'm sort of like, maybe Mavropanos comes in. Now I know that Mavropanos is more a right-sided centre-back, so possibly that then means that maybe you move Zuma across. Yes, I know Zuma normally plays right, but he can play left centre-back. So whatever.
I'm not a big, to be honest, mate, I'm not a big advocate that really matters, in my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose it's less important, but I guess it depends on how comfortable the centre-back is, because I know that there's some centre-backs that when they're asked to sort of shift across, that they're maybe not as comfortable. I know, for example, Craig Dawson always favoured playing as the right centre-back and was never truly comfortable when he was asked to play at left centre-back, because it just obviously changes the angles very slightly that you're used to facing.
I get that, but did you ever hear about this 10 years ago?
No, not really.
It's never been a thing since the start of football, but it just seems people try and make things more complicated. I get that it's fine margins, but do you ever hear the same thing discussed in central midfield?
No.
Ever?
No.
You never go, oh, he's your left-sided central midfielder. No, they're just buzzing around the pitch, and you're a professional footballer. You should be able to kick with your left and your right.
I agree, and that, I mean, it's one thing that pisses me off is when you hear the commentators say, "Oh, it came to him on his wrong foot," and it's like the geezer's being paid like 250 fucking grand a week. It's like, on his wrong foot, he should be able to open a can of beans. Never mind connect with a fucking football and do what you need to do with it.
But going off piece slightly. Did you see the Nicholas Jackson shot he had against Bournemouth with his left foot?
No.
I'm telling you now, I mean, it looked like this kid had never kicked a ball in his life with his left foot. And it just went into Rose Z. He fell over. And I just thought, Jesus Christ. Like you say, in my head, as a pro footballer, you're playing for training every day. There should be games where the manager is saying, right, you're playing this game with your weaker foot for the whole game. So anyway, we digress slightly,
So anyway, I think personally I would bring in Mavropanos. I think after that debut in midweek, his confidence is going to be high, and I think that's. I think you need to sort of latch onto that and really sort of grow that confidence. like I say, whether you play Mavropanos left or whether you play Zuma left, whatever, I don't really see the same as you. It's massively important. Just get on with it. Yeah. So move forwards into midfield. Again, Ward-Prowse nailed on. Alvarez nailed on. I'm sort of like, do I go Souček, same as you? I'm not so sure. I think personally, I would go Paquetá personally then, and it may well be that move sort of, if I was to be in the manager's chair, came back to bite me on the arse going away to Anfield. But that's just me. I would go with that midfield three. I think that has a decent enough blend of defensive solidity, but also a good deal of craft and nous to try and unlock the opposition at the times that we have got the ball, which is going to be quite limited in terms of the possession. So we're going to need to capitalise and really sort of like get some good passing moves going forwards, and I think you've got that with those three there, especially Paquetá and Ward-Prowse. Then we move to the front three. For me, Antonio is a must. If Bowen is able to play, then great. I would play him. The question is then who's that? Where does the third option come in? Yeah. I think for me, again, same with Mavropanos as for Kudus. I think his confidence is going to be through the roof at the minute. He's going to be on cloud 9, so I would absolutely start him. Whether he starts in place of Benrahma or whether he takes Bowen's place, because if he doesn't make it, and then you can sort of like say Benrahma then sort of like is the one that makes his bow at Anfield, fine, whatever. But I think that's the front three that I would go with. I think you've got a decent blend there of pace, trickery, and brute force in, that you can really sort of give them an awful lot of problems. Score prediction?
I'm going to say it's going to be tough, but I think we can. I don't think we're going to win, and that's just me being honest. I think it's a draw, so I'm going to go for the Desmond 2-2 draw.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Ward-Prowse continues his good streak, and he nicks a goal, and I'm going to say Kudus nicks one for us. So I'll be happy with 2-2 draw and come away with a point.
Yeah, I think that would be a massively impressive result to go to Anfield and score 2 goals against a team of their standing would be absolutely magnificent. I think I've got 2 trains of thought, my heart and my head, and always my heart will never accept that we're going to lose. It just won't. My heart is probably going to say we're capable of going there and getting a point. My head says something slightly different. My head, if I'm being honest, says we're probably going to come up short, which I hate. It may well be that it's it's just being honest and being realistic. Look, we don't have a great track record as far as getting results is concerned at Anfield. You're right in what you say. Yeah. We've gone there in recent years. We've given them some real trouble, but when you look at the scoreboard, it hasn't been enough.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of basing it on that. So my head would probably say a 2-1 reverse. I don't think we're keeping a clean sheet again. I think if we did keep a clean sheet, that would be absolutely brilliant. But I see we're conceding at least a goal, and my head says a 2-1 reverse. My heart probably says we can sort of nick a 1-1 draw. So. Yeah. Hopefully both my heart and my head are wrong and we come away with a 1-0 win, but we'll wait and see what happens. But any final things you want to get off?
No mate, just hopefully we go up there, play some good football, score a couple of goals, and cement our position back towards the top of the league. So
absolutely. One final thing before we knock it on the head is I just want to sort of give you guys a little bit of a heads up. We've got one of our regular supporters on the channel. You may be familiar with Happy Hammerette. She's doing a sponsored skip every day during the month of October, 100 skips per day every day, and it's to raise sort of money towards finding sort of like treatments and cures for cancer, which is obviously something that everybody knows someone, if they haven't gone through themselves, a cancer battle. So, if you guys, there's a Just Giving link that she's got or equivalent, whatever it is, Just Giving page or funding, whatever, that she's got. If you can sort of like see your way clear, I've put it on the socials of the Instagram, the Twitter, or X as it's now called, the Facebook page of the West Ham Massive. So if you guys can sort of come together and give her your support, and even if you can't sort of contribute with a financial contribution, if you can just sort of like share it onto your social media platforms just to spread the word, that would help tremendously. But anyway, so we're going to wrap it on the head there. We're still in Lille, as you've probably gathered. Just sort of like, just to give you a little bit of a diary of our sort of 24 hours or just short of that we've been here. We've come here, we did the recording yesterday that went out for the Back of Topola review, and typical Englishmen abroad, we've really sampled the French culture. We went out last night, we found an Irish pub, and we went and had an Indian meal. So, what can you do? But anyway, we're having a good time. We're going to go and watch the England game later and hopefully watch them turn over Chile. And then we might sort of celebrate with a pint
Chinese
or a KFC.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Please, again, don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and we'll see you again soon. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for WHUFC Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham and Essex communities. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, Barking and Dagenham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of the video details of this stream on YouTube. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.